What's going on with y'all on this Friday night? My guy,
What
what's
it
going
do?
on?
What it do, man? What's going on, man? It's an honor and a pleasure. How you
Oh
feeling?
man, I'm feeling amazing, man. How you feeling?
I'm cool, man. I can't complain. I'm just happy to be here, happy to chop it up, man.
You know
It's
it.
a
Hey man,
blessing.
honestly, it's a long time coming, man, because from afar I got a lot of respect from you. We know a lot of the same people, man. And I honestly, man, I love what you're doing. I love when I see somebody making a transition for the positive. You're doing major things. I love the shit that you be talking and things. So man, it's really been a long time coming because we kind of in the same lane, man. So I don't know why we didn't do something like
I
this sooner.
appreciate it. I appreciate it. And I gotta give you your roses as well because I'm the type of person who, I observe other people and I give recognition to people who are inspirations. And so you've been very inspirational as to what you've been doing, and not just inspirational, but educational to a lot of people like myself,
Appreciate
other people from the streets, and just people in the reality of the norm of what you may call the traditional square. And what I try to do with my platform, and I think you do well with yours as well, is understanding that you can you can contribute to every part of society.
Yeah,
And
yeah,
sometimes I think a lot of gentlemen tend to alienate themselves, and I think you do an
yeah.
excellent job of not doing that.
Man, appreciate it. I make a concerted effort, to try to be universal, in my transition as well, just to be universal. Because I feel like this, a lot of the game and knowledge and wisdom that I've gathered, is universal. So instead of pigeonholing it and, just to a certain audience, why not let the masses be able to get some of this game and this wisdom, but just relate it in a certain way? I see you doing the same thing, and a lot of times some people don't even know what we're talking about right now, but it's for the ones that know, you know what I'm saying?
What you said and how you said it, man. What you said and how you said it.
Yeah, man, I got a lot of questions for you, just some stuff that I'm interested in. But man, let's
Okay.
just start, for the people that's on here right now. Let's start with who you are, man.
Okay.
Who are you? Where
Um,
you come from? What's the origin story, man? Break it down for us, man, because I see you and everybody need to go follow you after this interview, man, because you be dropping a whole lot of game, man, and I love it. That should be cracking me up sometimes. You got a lot of interesting guests on there.
I appreciate
So,
it.
but go ahead. What's your origin story? Introduce yourself.
Um, First of all, man, all praises to the Most High. My name is Too Deep, the Southern President. For those who don't know me, I'm from Memphis, Tennessee. By way of my neighborhood, Orange Mound, same neighborhood as A Ball and MJG. Um, to give people a little brief on me, I started off my first love was music and art. As a kid, as a child, that's what I started off with, and it just naturally happened. As you get older, as you become a teenager, I just realized I had that gift of gab. I had that game in me. I never was the kicking cans and holding hands type of guy. I was always because I had a few different talents. I'm gonna be the class clown. I'm gonna be the one drawing. I'm gonna be the one rapping, and so I attracted women, and the game came natural. You know what I'm saying?
Okay. Okay, so tell me, and I know we treading lightly on the topic, but
Hmm.
tell me this, right? You lived in a lifestyle, we gonna say a polygamous
For
lifestyle,
sure.
where you have multiple women,
For sure.
and a lot of people on my channel, they just interested in that, not so interested in trying to have a lot of women, even though some of them are.
Hmm.
But I just try to give them the principles because it's hard for a man to have one woman, right? So tell me, what are some of the principles that allow? Okay, and tell me this before I start. How many women did you have at your highest point at one
And
time?
my highest,
Yeah.
I would probably say 7. I think I might have had 8, but that didn't last long one time, maybe like
Okay.
a week or two. But I would say like 7. I
Okay.
probably had this 7 piece for like a decent amount of time, respectable amount of time. But I will be honest.
Yeah.
See, a lot of niggas will tell you whatever, just to
Sound
get
good.
views.
Yeah.
Listen, man, that shit was hectic for me. You know what I'm saying?
keep it real for them, cause
Yeah,
hey, they ain't gonna say that part. They ain't gonna tell
man.
that part.
Man, that shit was hectic. And I'm gonna be honest with you, because I'm a dude that like devotes himself to other shit outside of just my game, you know, I think it had affected, a lot of things spiritually, mentally, physically, that you tend to put to the side because you like, I'm so locked in the mashing on this situation and keeping this shit together.
Yeah.
And you know, I was younger. I wanted to be the young nigga to be able to be like, yeah, I got 7 of them
Uh-huh.
right now.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, I got 8 of them right now. 6 of them right. Yeah, what you doing? You
Yeah.
know, and it's a saying that I think we both should know where it's about the bread and not
Not
the
the
heads.
heads. Yep.
You know, and so you know, as I continue to age and evolve, start understanding. But what's past that number isn't complicating me, it's still elevating me, I'm good with it. Once it start complicating me, I'm cool.
Just froze out. I don't know if that was just on my end. I didn't hear anything you
Oh,
said.
oh, okay. I was just saying I got to a space where now I understand certain situations. Once you get to a certain number, it can complicate you instead of elevate you.
Right, right.
You know what I'm saying? So now I'm in a space where it's like, okay, well, if I'm dealing with, or if I were to be dealing with 4 or 5 women or 3, 4 women at one time, if I get past that number and them other 2, 3 is fucking up my energy,
Right.
I gotta let that be what it's gonna be. You know
And
what I'm saying?
that's heavy right there. You know, because a lot of these dudes, man, they doing it for the look. You know, it's what it looked like. They not even really tripping off the money. They want to show what it looked like. Oh, that I can have this. What it looked like from the outside looking in, but they going through hell in their household.
And peace is too costly. That's what I didn't learn. Peace is
And
too costly,
too
man.
costly.
It's too
Too costly.
costly. And so I would say, you know, obviously for those that watch this channel who interested in the gems that he drops, of course, it is a pleasure and a privilege to have multiple women in your life, but make sure that what you got going on with the women in your life is sustainable. You know what I'm saying? If the situation ain't sustainable for you and for them, you just shooting yourself in the foot for a good look. You know what I
Man,
mean?
that's a fact. And your whole household might crumble. You trying to get it up too fast, get too many heads too fast. You might manage and mess up the good ones you had because you didn't know how to manage it properly.
Come on, man. And with certain situations, you know, motherfuckers be needing time to grow and time to understand you.
Yeah.
So, like, it was times I know in my past, I was just moving so fast. You know, when you young and you vibrant and you popping that shit, you like, oh man, you know, I done came across 2, 3 motherfuckers in one weekend.
Yeah.
Okay, you ain't gave one motherfucker the time to know
Yeah.
what type of
That
movies you
part.
like, or
That
what she
part.
like to eat, or
That
where
part.
she like, you know, and that be the shit that'll keep a motherfucker
Yeah.
around versus, man, I'm just mad, whatever come my way, I'm just,
Yeah. Yeah, you know, it's all about the longevity. It ain't about how many you have. It's how long you can have that many. You know what I'm saying? So a lot of times, a lot of dudes like to get them and just move so fast past them. I got to a point where it was like, now, once I get them, I know it's in this 30 days, man, the most important thing ain't the money. The most important thing is locking it in because the revenue going to come when you can lock something in, you know, instead of just getting that fast money. But yeah, you're absolutely right. But I was asking that question to segue to the next question, just so you know, everybody would know how many women you had at one time, because that's impressive for the average dude. You know, they hardly get one. You know,
facts.
let alone having one. You know, bowing down and doing whatever they want. So I
Facts.
like to, you know, because you know how niggas in the game are. Sounds slick, talk shit, you know, pop they shit, but they really don't be saying nothing. It ain't nothing you can really grasp on to learn actually what to do. And I ain't talking about trying to get in the game. I'm just talking about the same principles. A man who wants to have a woman. You've had 7 at one time. What are some of the principles that allow you to get 7 different women to be with you, knowing you have other women, right? Because to some people that's unfathomable. So what would you say if you were telling some dude right now who just want one woman? What's some of the principles he needs to have? What are some of the principles that you had that the squares don't have that allow you to be able to get women okay with you having other women?
I think that's an excellent question, and I think to me it's just part of having somewhat of a king's mentality and just being real.
That's it.
As far as me and the definition of me, I'm gonna give a motherfucker just a brief on me and how I think and how I was raised, because that has everything to do with everything. My grandmother raised me, so naturally, regardless of the fact of the lifestyle that I chose, it was certain morals and things that I feel are applicable no matter what the fuck I got going on in my life. And even though I chose the path that I technically wasn't supposed to choose, I apply them same morals and them same disciplines to whatever I'm into. So it's like being responsible, treating people right, doing what you say you gonna do. You know, being a man of
There
honor,
you go.
being a man of
Speak
integrity. Because
on it.
the 95% of niggas don't understand. How can I put it? You talk yourself out of what you could have. And I say that by saying niggas come to the door being Mr. I'm gonna do everything, I'm gonna make everything perfect. I'm the perfect guy. Trust me, I'm
Right.
gonna do right. I'll never cheat on you. We're gonna,
Yeah.
this all super
Yeah.
romantic bullshit. And I'm not knocking a nigga if that's your thing, that's your lane. I'm not knocking, but 9 times out of 10, is it sustainable or is it realistic?
Speak on it, man. And I say that all the time, not to mean to cut you off, but I say it's like this, man. You presenting something that you not. So how long you think that's gonna last? You
Ain't
can't keep up a show forever, no matter what it is that you are. That's why I say it's better to be yourself. And if you feel like you got to fake to get that woman, then that's not your
then
woman.
that's not your woman. And so I think you speak on that a lot. It's just like, man, I'm a come as I am. And if she appreciate me for who I am and how I am, that's the female for me. And I think for me, that's what's always worked for me. I've never been caught up in what the next man was doing. I
Right.
never cared about who had more than me. I never cared about, if this is that style that worked for him. I'm good at being me. That's all I know how to do. I'm good at being too. And I think for the females that chose to deal with me, they could appreciate that
Yeah.
because they was like, oh, this nigga's very comfortable in being himself. And women like confidence.
Man, hey,
Women,
that's major. I don't know if they really realize how major that is because it's so major, but it's so simple you might miss it. You being able to be comfortable in who you are. A lot of dudes, I would say the majority of the dudes out here can't do that. The majority of guys out here are sitting out here trying to be everything they think the woman wants.
come on, man.
And now you acting like everybody else. You know
Come
what I'm
on, man.
saying?
Come on, man. And so to piggyback off what you're saying, when we talk about the great ones, what makes them great? The
Right.
fact that they were unique, the fact that they
Yeah.
did something transcendent, the fact that what they did, you remember over what everybody else did. I ain't knocking no rappers, right? But who you gonna remember more? Future or the 100,000 niggas that sound like Future?
Exactly. No, that's a fact. That's a
You, you,
motherfucking fact. And what
you
they
see, you know
really,
what I'm saying?
and you know what's crazy too? It's like this. They don't even realize that that woman that they faking for, you ruined the chance for her to even like you for you because you was faking. If you'd have came how you is, you didn't even give her a chance to like the real you. But of course, she can't like the real you now that you presented a fake you, and
Come
now you
on,
switching
man.
over to the real you. You blew that chance for her to even like who you was.
Come
But
on,
that's
man. And
me.
so,
So just for the people who hopping on, I asked him a question, man. What allowed him to have 7+ women, right? When the average dude can't barely keep and hold one, and be able to let them all know I got a bunch of other women. He said it was his confidence, being able to be who he was, not trying to be somebody else or who he thought the woman wanted, but being himself unapologetically and confidently.
that's a fact. That's a fact.
Somebody said in the
Um,
comments, a woman said in the comments, confidence is sexy. Yeah, like you said, because when you confident in being yourself, it's a different energy that you got.
mm,
It don't matter. It don't matter who you are, whatever quirks you got. When you confident, when you,
mm,
it's a different energy around. It's a comfortable energy. And listen, abroad is probably the one person who's the least confident.
mm.
That's why she respect confidence in a man so much. She put on, don't let her fool you. She put that makeup on every day. She got to put this on. Society has made her have to be so fake. She
Preach.
covets the man who can be real because that's everything she can never be because how society is. So when she's able to get around a man, however he is, you know what I'm saying? That's comfortable, and she can relax in that comfortable energy. It's gonna set you apart.
Come on, man. Come on, man. You're preaching over there, man. You're giving them gems, man. You're giving
Nah,
them
nah, nah. You
gems.
came with it. I was just breaking it down because it's hard to break it down. It's like, well, what do these dudes have that I don't have, man? You got everything that we got. You just not able to be yourself.
That's
You just not
a
comfortable
fact.
in yourself.
I'm not Too Deep not gonna wake up tomorrow and try to be Will Smith. Goldie not gonna wake up tomorrow and try to be Denzel. Goldie gonna be Goldie and Two gonna be Two.
Right.
And that's what works for us as people. And I think people have to work on themselves too. I
I'm
think I
big on
think
that.
as men be scared to work on themselves. And so if you work on yourself long enough, you will build that confidence because you will be concrete and steadfast on this is me. Like I
Man,
ain't
you
rock and rolling, moving like this what it is. Like
Man, you preaching everything I preach. You're not confident because you're not competent. You're not competent because you don't work on yourself. When you work
oh,
on yourself every day, when you reading, when you building, when you pushing in this direction, you confident about what the fuck you doing, and you not trying to be nobody else because you comfortable being you because of the things that you
oh,
doing. So that's why working on yourself is massive. And I'll put this in too. A lot of dudes aren't confident because they don't know themselves. They don't know themselves, so they can't be themselves. They've never taken the time to see what they actually like. They've been their entire life. They've been doing what everybody else say. They friends in high school, the TV. What's the rapper doing? They've been trying to be everybody else their entire life. They've never actually sat down and say, what do I even like? Everything that you like is everything that everybody else likes. So
mm-hmm.
when people actually sit down long enough to actually identify what they like, then maybe they'll start to become confident in their own decisions.
That's a fact. And let me piggyback off what you just said. See, that was my biggest thing about the game, right? Because I'm from Memphis. I'm from like one of them places where that shit is like humongous. You know what I'm saying? The legendary niggas. Shout
Yeah.
out my guy Johnny Cash. I know you
Yo,
know Cash.
shout out
You
Johnny
know,
Cash.
and a million other cats. So I'm saying that to say this: when you develop a certain mentality, a lot of niggas be scared to step outside the box. They trap themselves in the box, and that's why they don't know
Oh,
who the fuck they
speak on
are.
that shit. Go
You see
ahead,
what
cause
I'm
I
saying?
speak on that
And
shit.
so I'm the type of nigga who where it was like from 12. I'm like, I don't give a fuck what I'm doing. What I like is what I like. If he
Right,
don't like it, I'm not doing this for him no motherfucking way.
man.
This nigga ain't finna pay my bills. If this bitch stop fucking with me, this nigga ain't gonna give me no motherfucking jug. This nigga ain't gonna, you know what he gonna do? Pick up the phone. Hey man, you know what happened with such and such, man. Yeah, man, that nigga about to lose the lack,
Yeah.
man. Hey man, the nigga whatever the fuck. You did? So I'm knowing that my reality needs to be I need to focus on what develops me as a person, what I'm passionate about, and stand concrete on it, because that may be the thing that stand out to
That's
that bitch.
a
She done
fact.
ran across 100 niggas who they got the same script, the same look, the same, but she like, oh, this motherfucker articulate, this motherfucker's creative, this motherfucker's funny, like this is the vibe I want, an all around gentleman.
Nah, that's 100%, man. And that's one thing about the lifestyle that you see a lot, man. Everybody is running off the same script. They listening to the same music, dressing the same way, popping the same shit. You know what I'm saying? You know different. She done heard what you said about 1,000 times because she listened to that same rap song. You know what I'm saying? And especially, earlier on, the game was something where it's a lot of colorful characters in the game, and that's what made it so unique. Yeah, that's the word I'm gonna use. There's a lot of colorful characters in the game, man.
Hey, to say the least.
To say the least,
To say
unique.
the least.
Some people that you'll never see in a lifetime that you say this motherfucker should have his own motherfucking show. You know what I'm saying? There's so many like that, and they so unique in their own ways. And
I'm
that's
gonna
what's
give you a
attractive to it.
perfect example. If a motherfucker ever watched Black Dynamite, they got a the cartoon Black Dynamite is like full of peas, full of pimps, and full of hoes and shit like that. And they got all these colorful, different kinds of guys on there, and some rhyme and some, do whatever the fuck. And that's kind of how this shit
Yeah,
is. You
yeah.
gonna meet a motherfucker, be like, oh, that's cool, man. He got a perm. He really got the whole act down. Then you meet another motherfucker, he got 12 rings. And you meet another motherfucker, he religious.
And,
It's
but every individual feels like they the shit. Every individual,
every
no matter
single
how
one.
unique, they feel like they the one. They it. They a king in their
Every
own
one
way.
of them.
And
Every
it's a
one of them.
and it's a beautiful thing because you don't see self love like that. You
Oh
don't
no.
see I can be different, but I stand on it and I'm confident about that. You don't see
Oh
that
no.
in any arena in life because that's frowned upon. If you're different, you an outcast. But because the lifestyle is an outcast lifestyle, you feel okay being outcast. You actually take pride in being an
Come
outcast.
on, man. Talk that shit. And a nigga take pride in being an outcast because society tried to train us and program us that being different was a
Uh,
problem.
Uh-huh.
You see what I'm saying? Oh, motherfucker, you don't feel all the shit that the government telling you. Oh,
Yeah.
no, that's not right. Oh, you don't want to get married? You don't want to work for 60 years and then retire, when your back broke after you've been barely making it the whole. Oh, no. You're doing too motherfucking
Yeah.
much. They
Yeah.
don't want you to have an
Nope.
imagination. So when you become a certain kind of player, individual, that's part of what it's about.
Yep.
Fuck the system. I gotta imagine that I'm thinking bigger.
Yeah.
You know?
That's why we call them squares, because they can't think outside the box.
Boom.
Man, so let me get into some of these questions that I got for you, because I think this is a major thing for a lot of dudes on here, man. Just rebranding, rebranding yourself and doing something different. Because let me ask you, if you went through this, right? When you've been
Mm-hmm.
doing something for so long and you're good at what you're doing, but
Mm-hmm.
something inside of you says, man, it's bigger out there for me. You know, what's that transition like? When you went through that transition, was it scary? Were you doubtful, or was it like, nah, I knew I was ready, and I just made that decision?
First of all, let me say this is an excellent question. I think it's something that needs to be touched on. It's a very, very difficult transition. And the reason because you're battling with yourself internally. And you're battling with what you felt like at one time in your life was the greatest version of yourself. Because first of all, if you ever had a taste of this shit, how,
Come on.
good it can be, it
It's
is,
some high highs and some low lows.
woo! And that's what I went through. And it got to a time in my life where I was like, yo, I keep spinning the same block. I'm gonna keep it all the way a buck with you. When I was, let me say, I started, real early, like 21, 22. I had already left my city. I was already with the shit. And so, man, I had developed a gambling problem.
Not to cut you off real quick, but I was in Vegas for a decade, and that was like almost every dude partner that I had. That's what he spent the whole trap on. They ain't even got a room from all night, and he, man, spent it all on the table. But go ahead.
And it wasn't, it wasn't that I'm an addictive personality type of person, because like I ain't really that type of person, but I'm addicted to winning. And that was my problem. So I didn't know how to take a L. And so I was battling with, I was always in transition mode thinking of my music, because from day one, I always loved my music and I took it serious. But the whirlwind that my life kept going in between, from an era where you investing in music and you may not really get nothing back because you're chasing radio and you're chasing this and chasing that. And then I'm gambling and I'm losing 10 grand in the night and 12 grand in the night. But when you're young, you think you're going to get it back the next day. And then, like, the battle that you're going through at the same time, where you like, oh, I thought she was down. Damn, she left. Oh, I thought she was down. Damn, she left. Oh, she told me she would never leave me. She was with me forever. Damn, she left. So eventually, you wake up one day and you realize this is a fucking dangerous cycle. That I'm, repeat. No matter how high I get, I'm still going, like you said, experience another low.
Yeah, and honestly, let me ask you. You may not feel me on this, but two things with me was like this. This is something that I was infatuated with, seeing it with my uncles as a young man, a teenager and things, right? So that's what gravitated me towards this type of lifestyle. And now I'm grown in this lifestyle. The
Mm-hmm.
same mind that saw this thing, and some people get into the gangs and shit like that. They idolize the dope dealers. What I idolized as a child, now I'm grown, but I've been moving in this lifestyle. I never reevaluated why I started. I had a child's mind and I idolized a certain thing. I moved in that direction, but now with an adult mind, I never reevaluated the reason I started, and if this is still something as an adult that I would still do again. And so, sometimes I would start slowing down and start to think, this was something I like to flash. I like this. Yeah, that's what a teenager thinks, right? But as a grown man now, what does it really look like? My potential. And I used to think like this. We think that it's like a game you playing. You're really trying to convince the woman that she needs you, but deep down inside, man, if her money's gone, man, you fucked up. So it's like a dangerous game. I gotta convince you need me, which in some ways you do, but at the end of the day, if you're gone, I really need that money.
Bam.
You know, so it's almost like a fake weight dependent system that you own if you keep it real with yourself. And then once you start realizing you dependent, and some of these women kind of know you dependent, and that's so it's a whole lot of games going on. And I'm gonna let you get back to it, but for me,
That's
it
real
got to a
shit.
point. It got to a point where I started feeling like a slave to this system, right? And I didn't like feeling like that.
Mm-hmm.
And then I started realizing, man, I'm trading hundreds of thousands for possible tens of millions because I have a mind. I'm intelligent. I can do business. I can jump into the business arena. So I'm trading my time and my energy for hundreds of thousands when I could be making tens of millions if I did it in a different arena. So I started going through a struggle of my potential. Do I stay where I'm? This is easy for me. I know how to do it. I've been doing it. Or do I take two steps back to go forward and jump in an arena that has a way bigger potential, but I could fail. And that's where I struggle at. It's like, man, I know I got more potential than just this, but I know making a transition is not guaranteed, and you got to take some steps back.
You got to. You got to. And to finish speaking on what you were saying, like, yeah, the transition is difficult, but in every man's life is necessary. It's a quote where people say, if you think the same way at 30 or 40 as you did when you was
Yeah,
20, you lost. And
yeah,
so as I continued on and time went by, so many things I had went through, losing friends, people dying, people getting killed, me getting shot, home invasions, losing money, losing family. You just and you start looking at your watch and you like, hold up, how long I been doing this shit?
yeah.
Hold up, I still ain't even really no millionaire. I still ain't where I'm supposed to really, like, I didn't had a lot of fun. I didn't bought a lot of
Right, yeah,
shit. I didn't went a lot of places. But ultimately, like what you just said, is this really what the fuck I got in this shit to be for? No. When I
yeah.
was a kid, what was I telling myself? I'm gonna be an
Right,
entrepreneur. I'm gonna be a
right,
musician and an
right,
artist and a this.
right.
I wanted the full potential out of
Yeah,
myself. So just like you said, now you like, oh, I didn't lost sight of what my full potential was
yeah.
because I'm getting a bag from a motherfucker every day.
My dreams is getting bought. It's a high paid job, but it's the same thing that people at a job go through. Their dream is being bought by that salary. And even though my salary was high, it was still the same way for me. I'm still being bought because my vision and my dreams is way bigger than this.
Not to mention you still a what? A
You still
slave to it.
you're a slave
Be
to it.
let
No matter how much we
let's
try to
just be
flip
honest.
it,
You know what it
no matter
is.
how much we try to flip it and twist it, yeah, yeah. But if you looking in the mirror at yourself, man, you need that hope,
Man,
man.
come on. You a slave to it. Cause man, every day you waking up and you got a job to do. So, as a nigga get older, you start looking at that time and it's like now I value,
Man,
you
I
know,
used to start looking at my clock because I used to say, man, at the end of the day, this is 24/7. This shit don't stop. So now you can't say, oh, I'm getting paid. No, divide that money by 24 hours. It's not as much as you think. You might be a
hell no.
minimum wage nigga out here. If you divide it by how much time you got to
How
spend on
much
this, at least at,
time?
at least if you got a job, you get to go home and turn the shit off and not think about it. You don't never get to turn this shit off.
Never. I don't give a fuck if it's 7 in the morning,
I
8
don't
in the
care if you
morning.
you said I'm finna go take a vacation. You still, man, listen, I went a whole decade with not getting a full night's sleep. I never got a full night's sleep for a decade. I promise you. Only cat naps.
That's a fact. That's a fact. And I wanna say this. You know, I think you sleep a little better when you create sources of
Man.
income outside of that
Right.
that that
Listen,
female.
the stress, the word about the police, the word about this, you worried about a whole lot of things too, you know? And this is another thing. This may not be for you, but for me personally. And I hate saying it because man, I love everything that I went through and all the wisdom because the game is like dog years. Every 1 year, it's like 7 years,
Woo!
man. I feel like I'm 60 years with my game because just the experience you go through with so much shit. It was so much character building that I got from it. But I can say this. It got to a point where I was disillusioned by the game, man. I got so close up on it. I got so really into it. I got so close to my idols. I realized, oh, this shit is a farce. This is not what they said it was. And it disheartened me when I saw everything that I thought I loved about it wasn't even for real. That the
Hold
motherfuckers was
on,
really just playing
hold
dress
on.
up and
You didn't took them all the way to church. Look,
listen.
since we got
And,
there, let me.
and you realize that a lot of this shit is show, and they don't say, a pimp and a hoe is the best actors not in Hollywood for a reason. And then you realize, man, you know what I'm saying? You've been chasing something that's really not even real,
Not
but
even
a nigga know how to make
real.
it look good.
Look. I got a saying on one of my albums, and the title is called "Being Real Costs Nothing." And I'm saying that to say it wouldn't have costed nothing in my youth for a motherfucker to really break down what to look forward to. But like you said, you get caught up in the facade, the
Yeah,
jewels, the
yeah,
cars, the flash of everything. But
yeah,
one thing that them motherfuckers ahead of us, you start noticing as you age, you like, hold up, this motherfucker didn't have no retirement plan.
yeah.
This motherfucker ain't riding how he was riding 10 years ago. This motherfucker ain't looking how he was, you know what I'm saying?
Man, and I hate to say it, when you really start looking around, you be like, this shit is like hitting a lotto if you get to the end of this shit and actually